Hello guys, welcome back to Clinically Clear. So today let's cover thermal comfort and its indices. So first of all, what are all the thermal indices and everything related to temperature? Okay, temperature and heat. So air temperature you can measure by thermometer. This we all know. Second index is air humidity. So air humidity is measured by hygrometer. Then you have something known as a sling psychrometer. There is a sling psychrometer. You have something known as an Asman psychrometer. So these are all the instruments used to measure humidity. Now there are three types of humidity. You have absolute humidity, directly measuring the amount of water in air. That is not telling you anything. So useless, absolute humidity. Relative humidity, much better. It is telling the amount of water vapor in the air divided by the maximum water vapor capacity of that same air into 100. So 35% moisture capacity dry if it's less than 35%. 65 to 75% humid. More than 75% very humid. Okay. This is relative humidity. So the amount of water vapor in air divided by the maximum water vapor capacity into 100, less than 35% dry, 65 to 75% humid, more than 75% very humid. Then coming to dew point, the best humidity indicator is dew point. It is the temperature at which further cooling of air causes the excess moisture in the air to condense or precipitate. So basically, more the dew point. You have a region where dew point is 30 degrees. You have another region dew point is 20 degrees. This 30-degree dew point is more humid because at 30 degrees itself, I cool the air, further cooling of the air, moisture is condensing, moisture is precipitating. So that much moisture is present in the air. So dew point is the best indicator of humidity. So absolute humidity, relative humidity, and dew point. This is for air humidity. Next, we have air movement. That is measured by an anemometer. As you can see, you have a rotating disc. It measures the air movement, air velocity and air movement. But this anemometer at low velocity it is useless. So at low velocity of air, kata thermometer is the best. Kata thermometer is the best in low velocity of air. And if you want to know the exact direction of wind, then a wind sock is even more useful. A wind sock is useful if you want to know the exact direction of wind. Okay, that is air movement. Then coming to something known as cooling power of air, fourth one, which is a combination of air temperature, air humidity, and air movement. Combination of the three gives you cooling power of air, measured by a kata thermometer. Kata thermometer, how do you identify? A red bulb. Red bulb, if you see it is kata thermometer. It measures, how do you measure the cooling power of air? How fast the time taken for drop from temperature A to temperature B. That is how kata thermometer checks the cooling power of air. The unit is calculated in millicalories drop per centimeter square in second. So per centimeter square, how many millicalories it is dropping per second? You millicalories per centimeter square per second is the unit. So you have two types of kata thermometer. You have dry kata thermometer and wet kata thermometer. In dry, if if the cooling power is more than 6, thermal comfort achieved. In wet kata thermometer, if the cooling power is more than 2 millicalories per centimeter square per second, thermal comfort is achieved. So this is about cooling power of air. Fifth index is effective temperature, which is a combination of cooling power and the remaining three: air temperature, air humidity, air movement. But even better than effective air temperature is corrected effective temperature, which also takes into account even all of these plus radiant heat from surrounding objects. This radiant heat from surrounding objects is measured by a globe thermometer. So a globe thermometer is used to measure the radiant heat, and this corrected effective temperature is a very good thermal index. It helps us to identify comfort zones. So 69 degrees Fahrenheit, cool and pleasant temperature. 70 to 76, comfortable and cool. 77 to 80, still comfortable. 81 to 82, uncomfortably hot. 83 to 86, extremely hot, and more than 86 degree Fahrenheit, intolerably hot. So we're able to get comfort zones, thermal comfort zones, using corrected effective temperature, not effective temperature, because corrected effective temperature also takes into account radiant heat. Okay. Next index is the heat stress index. Heat stress index tells you the amount of evaporation to maintain thermal equilibrium divided by the total possible evaporation into 100. So the amount of evaporation to maintain thermal equilibrium divided by total possible evaporation into 100. So 0 is not possible. A heat stress index of 0 is not possible in life. Basically, living life, 0 is not possible. 0.1 to 10 heat stress index HSI, comfortable. 10 to 30, mild to moderate discomfort. 30 to 70, very uncomfortable. 70 plus, intolerable heat stress index. Again, heat stress index can be used for comfort zones. Wherever you're able to divide it into comfort zones, those are the best indexes. And the last one is McArdle's index. McArdle's index measures thermal comfort by P4SR, predicted 4-hour sweat rate. So 1.5 to 3 liters of sweat per 4 hours. Thermal comfort achieved 1.5 to 3 liters thermal comfort, predicted 4-hour sweat rate. 3 to 4.5 liter, tolerable. It is tolerable. It is not comfortable, but you can tolerate. Tolerable. 4.5 liter plus per 4 hour of McArdle's index of predicted 4-hour sweat rate, that is intolerable. So this is about McArdle's index. So all the thermal indexes and thermal comfort: air temperature, air humidity, under which you have absolute, relative, and dew point; air movement, cooling power of air, effective temperature, corrected effective temperature, heat stress index, and McArdle's index. So that is it for thermal comfort. Thank you for watching.